Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I am with Ken Dombrowski, and we will be talking about women in business and confidence. Can you be born with confidence, or can you build confidence, especially for us women-owned businesses? That's pretty much what we'll be talking about.
Well, thanks so much for that question, but I can say that that's got a complicated, kind of an answer to it. Because yes, a person can be born with confidence, and another person can develop confidence throughout their life based on experiences and environment. However, when we're talking more specifically about women, now this is going to be a bit of a neurological, kind of explanation. So please don't be mad at me. I promise you, I'm not a sexist. My life is run by women, and I like it that way. It is neurologically in a woman's mind, in her brain, confidence. That part of the brain that would be about confidence is considerably smaller than what it is in a man. Now, from what I understand, and I'm definitely no one's neuroscientist, but I understand that's the part they call the amygdala. So the amygdala, if it's bigger in men, so therefore they have more emotions and more emotional regulation, and that would include aggression, which is connected to confidence. Women lack aggression. Women, throughout history, thousands of years of mammalian race, women were supposed to be the more calm and peaceful, loving, nurturing, caring one, while the man was the aggressor who went out and fought and hunted and that kind of thing. So that's still just as true today. So what we see is that it's very difficult for a woman to be born with confidence because her DNA dictates something else. But when can she learn it? She should be able to, but I am going to always say not everything is going to be work for everybody.
Can you give us some examples with some business owners, especially female business owners, how they build their confidence? Because you said that you can build it. Mm-hmm. So can you give us examples with that?
Best way to build confidence is going to be through accomplishment. Confidence cannot be borrowed or bought or anything like that. There's only one way to get it, and that's through earning it. So what I like to suggest is start out small tasks in your life that are going to, like if you're looking to be in business, start putting together small tasks and accomplishing those. And they might be small things that only take a minute or two. Then the next task will take an hour or two, and so on and so forth. And then you're looking at more long-term goals, can build from there. But each time you accomplish a task, it bolsters your confidence and your self-esteem just a little bit. The bigger the accomplishment, the bigger the confidence booster. However, if we stop accomplishing stuff, guess what? That confidence can start to just kind of, sink back down again. It has to be maintained.
So your suggestion is pretty much to start acting. Because when I work with women business owners, sometimes we want everything to be perfect before we act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why your suggestion is like start acting, and through acting, even if you make mistakes, because I think that women, we want to be perfect. We don't want negativity on the other side. So we just are scared of acting.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a whole nother explanation behind all that.
Oh, okay. We want to hear it. That's why.
See, our subconscious mind, which is the real driver of everything we do. We have our conscious mind is only responsible for about 8% of our overall mind space. Your subconscious is the other 92%. So you can see that more comes in from your subconscious, more substantial. So your subconscious mind is constantly trying to protect you from all kinds of threats, all kinds of things, including failure. Failure can be conceived by the subconscious mind as a threat to your life and survival. So again, it goes back to all kinds of over thousands of years of evolution, where just 1,000 years ago, failure could easily mean death. Today, not so much. You can fail at all kinds of stuff and never get sick or die. So that's another thing that we're kind of fighting that uphill battle on, is that your brain is trying to protect you from failure, and it also does not like change. So When you're fighting change, your subconscious likes things to be the way that they always have been because it knows what to expect from them. So therefore, it's going to constantly try to hold you back from those things. And that feels like a lack of confidence, but it really has nothing to do with confidence. Now we're talking about an evolutionary DNA thing that we all struggle with because it's all about survival.
I know, but I still think that maybe because women are conditioned differently from very young age, I should say. And that's, I think it's kind of layered with exactly what you're talking about. Yes, it is neurological, it is DNA, but on the top of it, you have another layer where it's conditioning that women should not be acting aggressively. The expectations are women kind of, they're more soft spoken, they have to be more soft with their relationships and things like that. Is that true or?
Well, I'm going to say yes and no. For thousands of years, yes. But in recent society, no. Today we see boys and girls are being raised, it's almost like what we call a unisex. They're being raised basically the same. And what is actually happening is that boys are being repressed for their energy, their aggression, and told you need to behave more like the girls. Because the girls tend to be just naturally a bit more subdued, a bit more calm and peaceful. So the girl has become the gold standard of how boys are supposed to be acting. So they're not elevating girls, they're holding down boys. And then when you have a lack of masculinity, then guess what? There's also a lack of femininity. So those two are going to work together and ping pong off each other. And now we just have a lot of confusion.
What about in business though? How do we condition ourselves, or how do we change our confidence level in business? Because that's what we want to talk about. Because in business, you have to be, not aggressive, but more assertive and confident, especially when you're talking about your business and when you want to sell your product or service. So how do you think we can be more assertive or more confident? I know that you mentioned that you have to have different accomplishments, but how do you accomplish accomplishments?
So we've heard funny thing about real estate. Real estate value is always about location, location, location. Those are the only three things that matter. Same thing is going to happen here. But I replaced the word location with experience. Experience, experience, experience. That's king. That's what's going to drive that spirit force, that energy. It's going to start to open up the brain and the mind to those new possibilities. And we don't know it until we start getting that experience. I've known way too many people, and especially women, because women are going to always just kind of feel like they need to hold themselves back, as you're describing. And they can go and get a degree, a bachelor's, master's, a doctorate degree. But for some reason, they kind of feel always held back a little bit. That's because they kind of stop themselves before they can really start. So they're not getting the experience that they need because they want or feel the need to be perfect, as you were describing. And we want to be able to come to the determination and understanding there is no such thing as perfection in this world. It does not exist anywhere. So we're holding ourselves to a standard that is impossible. So now I'm the life coach who says, I don't ever say nothing is impossible. That's a ridiculous statement. Anybody who says that, you should turn them off and go do something else. Pretty much everything in our world is impossible. But we want to take the small few things that are possible and nurture those and try to make them work for us with an understanding that you're still going to mess up, you're still going to have a problem, you're still going to have challenges, and it's how you stand up and persevere and keep going. That's what makes the difference. And here comes your confidence, here comes your self-esteem, here comes your expertise, here comes all this stuff that you're wanting. But we cannot get those places without going through that process first.
So yeah, for all these talented women out there, we want to make sure that you start, even if you start today.
Yes.
Not wait until everything is perfect, the environment is perfect, the economy is perfect, your product is perfect, your service is perfect. You cannot do that. You cannot wait for that. So what you have to do is you have to act. act. And if you make mistake, guess what? You learn from that mistake. It's another lesson instead of, oh my gosh, I screwed up. That's why I think that sometimes we put that in our head and we just completely stop sometimes instead of learn from that and start acting.
Exactly. Now, I've witnessed, I even got a couple of stories that I can share of people that I've worked with going back many years ago when I took some courses for life coaching and hypnosis and get my education and going and whatnot. I graduated the course, and literally within 2 weeks, I had opened an office and was already doing advertising. I built my own website. I just immersed myself into my life coaching hypnosis business. Well, the class that I went to was probably about 75% female, 25% males. Now, again, this also sounds sexist, so please forgive me. This is not sexism, this is observation. What we notice in life coaching and hypnosis, they're two different industries, but I'm one of the few people that combines them. It's a women-populated industry, but it's a male-dominated industry because women are always holding themselves back. So I would get on the phone because we're all around the country when we went to this one class for several weeks. And I'd talk with them. We don't have much else going on. Let's talk to each other about our business. What are you doing? And I had several women that I was talking to, and the excuses were just coming out of the woodwork. Oh, well, I don't have my office. I want to paint my office before I advertise and actually file for a business license and do. You can file for a business license today, do some advertising. You can do all this, and this would go on for weeks and months and even into years. Years later, still have never seen a single paying client. Well, within the first couple of months, I started to fill my calendar. See, those are the big differences. Why? Big difference between me and them is I have been a business owner since I'm 19 years old. So I've owned multiple businesses. So I know what it takes. I've got the experience. Therefore, I have the confidence and the certainty that I know I can do what it needs to be done. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to suck? Yes. Every bit of this process is hard. But I knew what it took to do it, and I'm trying to help these other ladies do this. And sadly, not one of them was able to, kind of follow along the trail that I had blazed for them.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, I can even add my own experience because I'm foreign born. So when I came here and I was in the banking industry, especially in the United States, the banking industry is very male dominated. And when I entered the boardroom, I was the only female there. And at first it was awkward. And of course, I was a little bit concerned about my accent. I should admit that at the beginning. And I was just scared. But after that, I start making proposals, start arguing, like you said, and did not even care about my surrounding. And little by little, I learned how to communicate in the male-dominated world.
There you
and
go.
Even if I made mistake, I just shrugged it, learned from it, and continue marching. Even right now, my business is very male-dominated because it's data analytical. We worked in some of the most male-dominated industry with some of our clients. So, yes, it's exactly what you said, Ken, that experience matters.
Yeah, I would bet when you're talking about those early banking days, you're probably nervous as hell.
Yes.
Trying to, what should I talk? Should I not talk? Is what I'm going to say is going to sound okay? Are they going to laugh at me? Are they going to throw me out of here? But you did it anyway, and it was the hardest thing you probably ever had to do. And then it was well received. It's like, oh, okay. Well, then next meeting you try again,
Yes.
and again, and sometimes you get shot down, but you keep on going, and the nervousness fades, but it probably never went away.
That's correct. Yes, every single time I'll do that, I will have butterflies in my stomach. Even now, like publicly speaking in front of a lot of people, I still will have butterflies. Even with our recording, we know that it's a recording. We can delete it if you don't like it. I still start having butterflies at the beginning until we start. After we start, I just kind of try shutting all the fear and just start doing it.
Well, I do have, and I know after all I've just said, I do have what you might call a slight tiny shortcut to help with this. What I've crafted over the years, and as I've used this many times, I crafted it for women, usually going to be women in business, as we're talking about, but also works really well on children. First thing is on my big whiteboard in my office, I'll pull up a picture and a detailed description of the human brain. And they'll show you the part that's the amygdala. So I show it to you so you can see it. That's your amygdala. That's responsible for your emotions, regulation, aggression, assertiveness. All this kind of stuff is right there. And in a woman, it's going to be about half the size of what it is in a man. So we're going to put you into a hypnosis, going to have you visualize that amygdala and spark it up, light it up, make it bright and strong, and actually even feel it kind of expand in your head. So we do that several times over a period of time, over a period of sessions. Women will report feeling more assertive in their life, more ability, along with, of course, all the other training that we're doing. It just becomes a really good complement. To do it by itself, I don't imagine would do a whole lot, but as far as part of a program, it does help a lot.
So you're still right now reconditioning
Yes.
how we perceived ourselves as a females.
Right.
Rather than, wow, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So, for all other business owners, because sometimes confidence, even male business owners will be struggling with that.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Because they're scared.
Yes.
Now, in that perspective, what kind of advice you can give them?
To give to men?
To men, yes,
Oh.
because I know we talked about women because that's our focus today,
Mm-hmm.
but we have some men in business who are not very assertive and not confident.
Well, that is going to kind of be in alignment, the similar type of a way of looking at it in treatment. I was sounding sexist, now I'm going to sound, I don't know, something elitist, I don't know. In recent years, last 40 years or so, we've started raising children in a much softer way. Not a hard hand, heavy-handed, with discipline and punishment and such. It's all about trying to talk through your feelings and negotiate with an 8-year-old, which doesn't work. It doesn't build the self-esteem and self-confidence. The risk versus reward as a child, if I do something bad, I'm going to get a spanking. That actually grows confidence because I'm certain that if I do something wrong, I'm going to get a spanking. But see, now this also starting to apply to men. Men, we're noticing, are lacking aggression and assertiveness, lacking confidence. I get certainly more women coming in with confidence issues than men, but we do still get men. You look at them as seems like a perfectly healthy, strong, probably strong-willed man, but instead, inside, he's just dying from a lack of confidence and maybe even suffering from, imposter syndrome or something like that. So even in him, we still have to talk through, how did you get here? What were your influences? What was your environment? What was your parents like and home life? And then we start building from there to kind of let go of some of those negative things that they may have experienced, as well as, get them to be more assertive. And I can use even that hypnosis on them as well.
So what we're talking today is, I know that we're focusing more on the personal side, but guess what? The personal side impacts your business. That's why you're acting the way you are. Mm-hmm. Once you boost your confidence from the personal side, you'll boost your confidence in the business world. Mm-hmm. So it's interconnected, Ken, and that's why I know that for some of you, maybe you're thinking about, it's nothing to do with business. No, it's 100% to do with your business and the success of your business. So that's what Ken is trying to teach us, to change our mindset, or what exactly actions we should be taking to make sure that we are successful in business. Because business and how we act in personal life, or what kind of internal responses we have, is connected with how successful you'll be with business. Mm-hmm. So Ken, if I ask you final thought, what do you what should we take away from today's conversation?
Well, it's going to sound pretty kind of stereotypical. Life is hard, business is harder. You need to be harder than all that. You have to grow, you have to rise above, you have to persevere, you have to overcome, and that does not mean perfection. It doesn't fit anywhere. It means try, get knocked down, get up, and try some more. That's really that simple. It's not a hard process. It's not a mystery. It's all there. We have all the information we need to be successful. It's just a matter of getting ourselves out of the chair and actually doing it. Just that simple.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to us today. We will be with you next time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.